Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. All right, for everyone that's curious, I know if you saw yesterday's video, mom and baby are fine. Baby's where the baby should be. Mom's still in the hospital. That's probably going to be the case for the next few weeks. But yeah, so we're still plugging along. Dad's playing single dad for 3 kids, and mom's in the hospital, and Nana and Papa are going to step up as much as possible. So thank you so much, everyone who has prayed for my family. I greatly appreciate it, and I know that those prayers are being felt and heard by our Heavenly Father. Do you want to see what I have worked on this week? Yeah, I know. It's Monday, and a Monday video generally is showing everything that I've worked on throughout the week. This week has been, my attentions were a little diverted, which is not a bad thing. But I got some stuff done, and of course, if you saw yesterday's video, you know I had to finish these. These are my cute little newborn socks, and they are 3 inches from here to here, and that is it. I use size 1 needles. The pattern says size 2s, but I don't want to go look for them. Fingering weight yarn, and I don't expect these to fit the baby for very long. When you go like this, you can see how tiny that is, right? I don't expect them to fit very long, and that is okay. And mom and dad can put a little Christmas hook right there if they choose to, when the baby's no longer able to wear them, and put them on their tree if they want to. But I did get a finished project, and this coincidentally was my first project that I finished throughout the week. Those that have been here for a while, you know, I do most of my crafting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I was a bit occupied during those days, so it's okay. And you know, that pattern right there, it is a free pattern. Let me get the name of that one again. That is the Stretchy Baby Socks by Fabienne Schulte. I'll have that link down below. I linked that down on yesterday's video also. So you've got 2 different cuff choices that you can choose, and they're so adorable. Just the cutest little things. And obviously I do fold them down. I think that is really, really cute. And you can see the difference right here. Just how they look kind of funny like that without little legs and little feet in them, but they're adorable. They're not meant to last for long. They're just not. They're just keepsakes, memories. And, you know, with this preemie baby that we're going to have, he's probably going to be really tiny. Being that in December he was already weighing tiny, and it's March, I mean, you know, and mom's 4'11", so what are you going to do? We're going to have a tiny baby. So then I wanted to make a hat, and I was looking around for different hats, and I saw some preemie hats, and I like Woolly Wormhead. So I did start a hat. I'm going to have to make another one. Just a full disclaimer right there, I'm gonna have to do another one. This is a free pattern too, and it's called the Trio. Come on, give me the name. Give me the top name. It's a trio of hats. It's trio something. Yeah, trio. It is Trio of Hats by Woolly Wormhead, and I've got multiple of their patterns, and I think I've got one of the books on theirs too. But here is the picture of the 3. So it has that beautiful garter stitch brim on all of them, and then you choose what brim you want. I'm going to do the crowned one, or the variegated one, where it's just the closer fit. That's what I'm working on. And I cast on this one, I think 84, because I was lazy. You're like, why is that because you were lazy? Because I'm using the fingering weight yarn. They use a sport in size 3s, and I've got like size 2.5 needles and fingering weight, and that's what I had in front of me. And the 84 was a lot more comfortable on my circular needles to get it started than if I were to use double pointed needles. So this is not a preemie size hat that I'm working on, but I have enough of that yarn that I can finish this hat and then make another preemie size one to go with the booties. But here we are on that, and that is just adorable. So I've gotten past that brim, which is just the garter stitch. It's garter stitch in the round. So you purl around, then you knit around, then you purl around, and you knit around, right? That's how you do garter stitch in the round. And then you've got that lovely eyelet detail right here. And now I'm just doing stockinette up for another couple inches, I think. And then it's a matter of doing the appropriate decreases. And I'll put that little I-cord detail on the top. I think that's adorable. So again, this is not the newborn size that's going to go with the little booties, right? But you can see that's not going to work. But I should have plenty of yarn. I will grab my double pointed needles and cast on a lot smaller. The directions are there for the preemie size. I was just too lazy to go get my needles, so now I'm going to end up making 2 hats. I should have got my needles. I mean, really? I should have got my needles. I would have been, you know, almost done with the hat. I would have almost had another finished project. But no, I'm stubborn. So that'll teach me. So Nana's being very productive and having fun making things for our newest little boy. So he'll be here when he's ready. Unfortunately, he seems like he's ready a bit too soon. We'll see about that. All right, so on the other stuff for me working on, oh, did I do this week? I think I did. Oh, I did do this week. I got the little pie turtle. I did have a finished project. He was done this week, wasn't he? Or was he done? Was he done last week? So 314 is 17. So I don't know. I think I might have gotten him done this week. Cool. We'll count him. I got the little turtle. So I'll have to look up the pattern for this one again. This is a free pattern. Absolutely adorable. I made this in support of Lori from the Armchair Chef, who was doing a live on, she did her live on the 10th of March. So maybe this was last week, but that's what I think it was last week. Either way, it's adorable and it needs to be seen again. How cute is that? That is so cute. That is adorable. So this was crocheted with a size C crochet hook. No. Maybe. And the Comfort DK was the colored parts, and this is a wool right here, a wool blend, because that's what I had with that particular color. But I think that might have been last week. Wow. Time flies. I mean, time really flies. So I know my goal this week was to try to put a little bit of work onto, you know, 5, 6, maybe 7 sweaters like I've done for the last couple weeks, you know, just trying to get just a little bit, just a little notch of work on it. And I know a couple days ago I had shown, like, I have, you know, I got my brown sweater sitting right here. It has not left the room, which means it didn't get any work. There's my brown sweater. And this was in my vintage bin. You know, it hadn't seen light of day forever. And I don't have a whole lot more. I think I've just got about that much more on the bottom because I do like my sweaters longer. And then sleeves, you know, sleeves. So I've got a lot of sweaters that are vests at the moment that just really do need those sleeves. And I was thinking about that, and I went ahead and I did a video to go ahead and show my progress. All right, so we are downstairs yet again, and you can see I have finished another sweater. This is the Flax DK. Move around so you can see some of the details on the shoulder. That's the Flax DK, and this I've used the menagerie yarn from Big Twist, and you can see this right here. This is quite stretched on my mannequin. The size that I cast on for this was the size 8 to 10-year-old. Obviously, this is on a mannequin not 8 to 10 years old. I didn't do any way shaping or anything, but this is just the nature of knit on how it will stretch over whatever the form is. I've got no difference from the front or the back. Everything is the same. I don't have any shaping. My mannequin's not wanting to move at the moment. I don't have any shaping or anything on there. And you can see what I mean, how stretched this is up here compared to right here with no arm or nothing in that, as to what that does sitting on, you know, a mannequin that's definitely a lot larger. So this right here, like I said, it's that wonderful menagerie Big Twist yarn. That's what I've got right here. That's what all of this is right here. And I have, let's see, going up here, these two sleeves are the menagerie also. So I have quite a bit. This right here is Big Twist Party and Big Twist Fleck. This is the KNC, their specialty yarn before they went out. It's a lot of Big Twist down here in this room. So I've got plenty more. And I made this sweater using 2 of these skeins, just 2. That's it. And you can see right here, I have 3 more. So I can make a sweater for myself out of this exact color if I choose to. I think I would have plenty of yarn with the 3 skeins. Each one of these has 410 yards. It was an easy knit. If you've been part of my channel for a while, you've heard me talking about it with the Flax DK. Is just such a wonderful pattern to make, especially if it's your first time doing any knitting. You can see we've got some decreases through here, which is very nice. You put a marker on this side of the panel and then a marker over here so you remember to every other row do your purls, and that just gives a nice delicate pattern detail down the arm. And the pattern is just such a wonderful template that you can use for anything. You can put lace down that if you choose to. You can do cables if you choose to. Using the numbers and everything else for this particular design, they've already done the hard work for you, and you can turn it into your own. I made the length on this one 15 inches. For me personally, I do like a longer sweater, but this is not my sweater. I also have the sleeves. I don't remember, I did 15 or 16 inches on the sleeves. Looks like a little bit more than the 15, which is good. I like to have longer sleeves. So there we have it. This is my finished project, the Flax DK for the week. I am very happy, very pleased with getting this one done. You got to see I finished the Flax DK. The Flax DK sweater, gorgeous, made with the Big Twist menagerie yarn, 2 skeins. That's all it was 2 full skeins, and it does fit over me. I didn't make it long enough for me because, well, it's a smaller sweater. And I wouldn't wear that one in public because, you know, I got curves that go in all directions. It's not a big deal. I'm not upset about it. It just is what it is. But I do have the 3 skeins and I can make one for me if I choose to. So here it is, not stretched on the mannequin. And you can see that. I mean, it is just perfection. You know what? For that matter, you know, I am working on the sweater right now for my sister, the angel sweater. And the reason I call it that, it's a very simplistic plain sweater, but just like you've got the garter stitch right here on the sleeves, and this is the chameleon colorway. It has the, for the people who can't see as well, it's a green and it has the rust stripes, a little bit of rust, a little bit of brown and blue in this, but it's predominantly shows as green. And on the sleeves, because they have less amount of stitches than the body, the sleeves have thicker stripes. That is the nature of this. And I've got other sweaters that I'm working on too. That's going to be the same thing when I get to the sleeves. So what you can do, instead of doing that 12 stitches right here in the garter stitch, is what that is, going down on the sleeve detail, you could do like I did, pick a pattern that you like. That's what I did on an angel sweater, and replace it with that, or lace or cables or whatever it is that you desire, and you can kind of change things up. But what got me thinking is this is done, and this, it would still be a big enough sweater for my sister's 4'11". This one might fit her. It might. I mean, it stretches to fit me, but I mean, it's not really a me size, but it would be a comfortable, bigger sweater on her. The sleeves are not super long like on my last sweater where I had to pull some out so it would actually work for her. So I might think about sending this one to her. I don't know. I don't have any claimers on it at the moment. I just made it because I wanted to play with the yarn. That's truthfully why I cast this one on, is Big Twist, Joanne Big Twist. We know it's gone. Well, there's some stores that still have some yarn, but it's get what you can get. I have not been, I bought all my stuff January, February, and just haven't had a need to go back and get anything else. So on that one, I wanted to show how it looked worked up. So I crocheted one garment and I knit another garment with that yarn. And that's what 2 skeins of that yarn does. Wow. That, you know, it's one of those, it's sad to see Joanne leave because that was such an economical sweater. I mean, I got that on sale like $2.99 a skein. So that sweater is less than $6, right? I mean, it's just a $6 sweater. Wow. Of course I had to, you know, some assembly required, but that's okay. That's what we do as crafters. We assemble stuff. We make it work. Make it work. That sounds really weird. But you get what I'm getting at. So really thrilled with that. Absolutely enjoy that. I had something done. And you know the best part about this? Do you remember last week? Last week, it had no sleeves. This was just a vest last week. It was a fancy vest, and we were talking about putting cap sleeves on it or something because, hello, sleeves, yeah, okay. But I really trudged through this. And it wasn't really trudging. I got through it. I made 2 sleeves. 2 sleeves, finished off the sweater, woven all the ends. It is done. It is finished. It is ready to be loved and used. And it's a big project. So did I work on 7 different sweaters this week? No, I didn't. You can tell that because you just saw the brown one and it hasn't moved. It has not moved. No, so I haven't worked on a bunch of them, but it's okay. I wanted to, well, I got started on this and I'm like, I was energized and I wanted to do it, and it's finished. Oh getting to the finished project. And then I looked at it, and I started this in January, which makes sense because I got a lot of Joann Fabrics yarn because they had a new run of yarn right before they announced their bankruptcy and right before they started to, you know, were going through all their stuff to sell off to the liquidator. They had just gotten a new run of multiple different yarns. Absolutely gorgeous. And I did a review video on all the ones that I bought, you know, and I didn't do just a little swatch. I was making something. So I did look. This was started in January and now in March, finished. That's amazing. Thrilled, absolutely thrilled. So as you also saw on, you know, the videos is the next sweater. So I know this is the one that everyone wants to see. So excited about my Alpine Bloom sweater. Look at the color work on this. This is with the KNC Cloud Paca. Absolutely lovely, gorgeous. But can you see how much fabric that is? This mannequin, I mean, it's close to my measurements. It's not quite right because it just doesn't go up that high. But you can see how much fabric we have extra all around. So I'm going to have to pull all of this out. Last week, we just barely had to here. So you couldn't really tell how much fabric was going to be there, how much extra flare. And let's see if I can get her to turn around. She's a little, sometimes she won't turn. There we go. All right, so we can see that even in the back too. That's way too, I'm not going to be able to pull that in. That's going to have that fluffy, floaty, extra fabric on the back. So this is not going to work. We're in my messy room right now. This is just not going to work. So unfortunately, all the work that I put on it this week is going to be pulled out. And I think I'm going to have to get into this beautiful color work. And, you know, I had increases throughout here and all that other stuff, you know, this pattern going like this, and not as many increases. I can't have that many. It's way too big. The circle that I made, because that's what a yoke is this big circle, is way too large. It extends way farther down into the breast area than what it should. The point from here to the end of the yoke is too long. There's just too much going on for this. If I were significantly larger, this would be absolutely perfect. I'm not. So yeah, this one's a bust. It's beautiful. I'm enamored with this. I hope it's going to be okay for pulling it out because it's slightly fuzzy, and we know how fuzzy yarns are. When you're trying to pull those out, they don't want to play nice. So that's where I'm at with this one. It's kind of sad. That was quite a bit to have gotten taken care of. I mean, you can look, I was just pretty much right here last week. So I got quite a bit done, and that's not usable. You know, I just showed my husband, I did try it on, and it is way big. And he's like, yeah, you're going to have to pull that in. You can't, because even if I were to pull that in tight enough, let me see if I can do that with yanking on these a little bit. You can see it's going to be that puckered look. Can you see that? All that extra fabric right here. And it's going to be like that all the way around the front and the back. And that's just not going to be flattering at all. So it really can't be pulled in. I can't decrease enough stitches. That's not just 1 or 2 stitches. That's a significant difference. That is one of the hazards with doing a yoke sweater with this big circle, because that's not how we're physically built. I did try to alleviate some of that by, I've got 10 more stitches on the front of the sweater than I do on the back, but I just had way too many stitches to begin with, and that's just what I'm ending up with. That's okay. I don't know how long it's going to be before we see this, because that's a little disheartening. I'm going to have to pull this out, and that might be a little demoralizing, right? But the yoke is worth it. It's gorgeous. It's soft. It's fuzzy. It's beautiful. I don't want to leave this one on timeout for too terribly long. I would like to make this. I have to contemplate how far back into that color work I have to go for those previous increases and reduce those. So that's where we're at with this. Sorry, guys. You know, things happen. That's okay. It's just what we do with our mistakes, right? I know. It's sad. So my Alpine sweater, I'm really happy that I just did that video, because I had not tried it on. Because, you know, when you look at this, I mean, I tried it on when it was just the yoke, but you can't really tell right now. There's not enough structure going down as to how much fabric that is. So this doesn't look like there's a lot right here, but that was a lot of knitting in black. Not everyone likes to knit with black because you just can't see it, right? You know, that's just, yeah. So I'm happy that I tried it on. It's sad that it's so big and it's just not going to work. I mean, like that. It's just not. That right there, it's too big, and I don't think it's going straight down yet. You know what I mean? I mean, this is like a circle. It's like when you do your amigurumi, if you're crocheting or knitting for that matter, and you've done all your increases and it takes a few rows before it'll start to go straight down. That's where we're at. We're still at that. I don't think it's done. I think it's just, it is really big. So I'm gonna have to pull back all the way to the color work and probably into the color work quite a bit and remove some rows. I know that when I made this, according to the pattern, I did add a few rows, so I might have to just go back up and where I've got this going down here, just reduce some of those, you know, coming back to here and everything, and maybe close off where that leaf is and finish the design up there, and, you know, getting rid of that much where my fingertip is, about like that. And if I can get rid of that, and hopefully, I don't know, if those increases were in that area, you know, removing those increases at that point too, that will make a large difference because I'll have less stitches going around. So there's a few other tips and tricks that I'm going to have to work with to make this work. Hopefully the biggest one, like I said, is removing so many of those stitches or so many of those rounds that it's not flared out as much. That's one. And make that circle itself smaller. That will make a big difference too. I'll still do extra stitches in the front compared to the back. You know, just other different tips and tricks that I'm going to have to come up with to make this work, because right now that is way too big. Even the sleeves were just kind of way up there. So that doesn't work either. I should have known. I mean, when you lay it, you know, that's not even flat. That's if it were a flat circle, that's bad enough, but that kind of angles up. And that's just too many stitches. It just is. I should have known that, but I'm not as familiar with the yoke sweaters. I get the concept with them, and I've talked about that, having that extra fabric and having to deal with that. And being that that's not a flat circle to begin with, that's ruffling already. That's straight up ruffling. So you live and learn, and it's okay. So I'll pull out those stitches, and I'm hoping that the yarn frogs really well. I don't know. I haven't had to do that. I didn't do that. My so-called test swatch was a hat, and I didn't have to pull any out. And being that this is, you know, a very heavy alpaca blend and fuzzy, I think we might have some issues. I think it's going to be one of those, you're just going to have to slowly tease it. I don't know. Let me see. So I've got the try-on cord, and the try-on cords are amazing. They're you can get them at your knitting store if you have a local knitting store, and you get a little tin of a few yards, I don't know how many exactly, of this barber pole is what it is. Or you can be economical and you can go on Amazon and you can order something that's called a barber pole cord and get that and save some money, because then you'll get a whole big spool of it for, you know, quite a bit less. And you can see what it is. It's this right here. It's just a little hollow tube. Yeah, there you can see that. So when you're using that, that can get stretched out. You just clip it and keep going. Clip it and then get that, sticking that on the tip of your knitting needle right here, and then check it. You know, so you go like that and then you check it. Like that came off, because that needs to be trimmed. And you don't want that to come off like that, because the whole idea is you're pushing that back into all of your live stitches. That comes off in your live stitches, you could be crying, just saying. So, you know, the barber cord is amazing, but like any tools, you know, be careful with them, check them out, make sure that they're in good working order. So that does make a difference. All right, so got the cord off, and I'm, like I said, I'm really curious. So we're gonna do this. Oh, that's another thing. So I'm gonna take the needle off because I don't really care. I've got quite a few rows. I'm not gonna unpick it one stitch at a time. Oh gosh, no, that's not happening. So I'm gonna take this needle off, and we're gonna see how big this circle is, and like, what was I thinking? But to my point, you couldn't tell necessarily. I mean, I should have known. Never mind. No defense, no defense. I've got a couple markers there that I'm taking off that I don't want to go flying in the room. All right, so here we go. We're just pulling that off. Come out, come out, come out, come out, come out. Man, I should have had a different color that I was wearing, not black against black, right? You're like, I can't see that. All right, so how big is that? All right, so that's a large that's a large circle. That's a big circle. So that's what's going to have to come out. Ooh, are we going to be able to pull this out nicely? Okay, so that's right there. I think I'm going to have bits of it that are going to come out like that, kind of like, okay, that wasn't so hard. And then other areas where I'm going to have to see like that, that's kind of stuck. I'm going to have to tease that through. Just kind of stretch it a little bit, and there we go. And away we go. And going around and around and just pulling it out ever so slightly. That was a couple days of work, I'm not going to lie. That was, yeah, that was a bit. And black. We know it. Yeah, we know how it is working with black yarn. So that's the other thing too. Got the fan on in here because I'm wearing a turtleneck. That's the other thing too, is when you're working and making something, I don't know if you weave in your ends along the way as you go. I don't, you know, and part of it is lazy, but the other part is something like this. If I would have, because this is not the first little cake that I've had to attach, if I would have done a really good job of weaving in my ends, coming to the realization that this is way too big and I have to pull it out, I would get to that point where I would have woven in those ends, and that would be really sad, because that we saw when I had to take out that sweater, right? And trying to figure out, and that was actually a lot easier than I expected, but taking out that collar, having to do something like this on a sweater that you want to get done, I might have had to cut it if I would have done a really good job weaving at ends. So that is one of the reasons why I wait till the end, is to make sure I'm keeping the garment. That's it. Are you going to keep it? Do you like it? I thought I did. I really did. I thought I did. I'm glad that we did this little video and try-on session, because at this point, you know, I only had that much. I was ready to go, you know, another 3-4 inches before worrying about trying it on. So really thrilled that I didn't do that. Really thrilled that I decided to show this right now. Well, of course it's Monday. Of course I'm going to show it. But to show this and show where I'm at and how much I got done with it, because now I realize I get to remove all of it. Yeah, so we just removing it. We're just taking it all out. We're just pulling it. Just, there we go. We're making a mess. But that's okay. We've talked about that. I've learned. I've gotten better at not being as upset when I have to pull things out. It's part of the process. I could finish this as is, but who would I give it to? Because it wouldn't be me. I could have just kept going and finished, and then the arms would have been big balloon arms. Did you see how puffy those were? Yeah, they'd have been huge too. So I'm not sure who I would have given this to, because I wouldn't have ended up wearing it. And what fun is that? You know, if I'm making it for me, but yet it's too big for me and I don't know who I would give it to, that's, no. So don't want to go that route. Oh, look, okay, I got a long way to still pull out, but there we go. What else did I work on this week? Nothing. No, nothing. I had goals. I had lots of goals, but that's okay. I'm surprised that I got stuff done. So I would have shown you my grandson's sweater, but while they were here Saturday, I gave it to him. It fit him. He was so cute. He was absolutely adorable. I held it up. He's like, Nana, it doesn't fit. Oh yeah, it does. It fits, baby. And I fixed it. And then he was so proud and he wore it home. And then I realized I should have kept it for this video so I could show it, because hey, that's a finished project, right? I didn't knit the whole sweater, but I had to fix it to make it into something. I'm counting it. I'm counting it. I am. So in my world, I got 2 projects done this week. I got 2 of them done. That's right. 2 projects. Because, yes. I don't know if you'd claim it, but I did turn it into something usable for my grandson, and he couldn't fit his head in it. So it wasn't usable. It's beautiful. It's soft. Even his dad was talking about how nice it is. And I'm telling you, whoever made it exactly his size. The length of the arms were perfect. The length of the body was absolutely perfect. I loosened up that neck, and that is just a stunning, stunning sweater. It's soft. It's just like a big warm hug. And he really enjoys it, and there you go. So like I said, I realized after the fact I probably should have held it for another day just to take a video of it, but that's okay. He's got something and he enjoys. I should probably look at this, make sure I didn't go too far. Nope. Nope, not too far, but my ball is getting larger. So we're gonna see on this too how well, not only it's frogging quite well. I mean, you see I've got quite a bit I've wound on here. So it's not having too many issues. Couple little snag points. If you do have some of this, that's probably really good to know. I am not the only one who bought this. So, you know, other people are making things, and it's nice to know that if you need to pull the yarn out, you can. You can turn it into something else. You can change your mind. So the other cool thing, oh my gosh, right, is making this smaller once I rip out a whole bunch of stitches and continue, but making this smaller, I'll use less yarn, right? And that will make it to where maybe I'll end up having enough for 2 sweaters or, you know, something like that. I can make more otherwise. If I'm using less of the black per sweater, I can come up with something else, because I've got that purplish maroon in this yarn. I've got 3 of the balls of the whipped cream, which is their off-white color, and I have the lavender and the black. So those are the colors that and oh, I've got the mint green too. So I do have the mint green. So it'd be nice if I can use that and have enough of this yarn, because this one's predominantly a black sweater, and I would like to conserve some of my black yarn. I think I got 8 skeins, and I would like to do one also with that mint green, and maybe, you know, but I do have other options too. Okay, so look, see, I tied that together right there. So here we go. Tied it together, but didn't do a good weaving in and everything on that. So that's pretty cool. So there we go. That's now a full skein, and I am down to that much more. Okay, just keep pulling it out. No big deal. Just don't look and it won't hurt. It won't hurt if you're not looking. Just, you know, as the ball gets bigger and bigger, just do it. It's okay. Just look away. Look away, Margaret, look away. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, so do you remember Three's Company? Do you remember the TV show, the 70s sitcom Three's Company? Did you know that March 5th was the premiere? March 15th was the premiere of Three's Company. How many years ago? Do you want to feel old? Do you want to feel old? If you know Three's Company, do you want to feel old? 48 years ago. 48 years ago, Three's Company premiered. Okay. No wonder when I make references to dressing like Mrs. Roper, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Nobody, you know, it's like, no, there's no clue. They have no context as to what I'm saying with some of the big flowy things or the loud flower prints or the whatever. No concept, you know. Or hubby used to say I dress like Peg Bundy too. Yeah, yeah, no concept. People have no clue. There's a reason. 48 years ago. 48. Yeah. Just get me with a walker, crutches, and wheelchair, something. I don't know. How crazy. How did that happen? How did that happen? I don't understand. I say get a kick out of that one. Just absolute kick out of that one. So anyway, I'm going to continue to rip this out, and then a little bit I'll have to get my needles out. Where am I at again? Where am I at? Get my needles out and everything so I can put all those on there. But we're close. We're close to getting that down there. So I'm going to set this aside at the moment because I don't want to pull that out as I'm chatting with you and then, you know, get to that color work, and ooh, that might be a little ugly. I don't want to mess anything up. So at that point, what I'll do is I'll have my needles with me, and I'll pick up all of the stitches. And for the color work portion, sad day. Oh my gosh, sad day. I will end up having to go out and rip stitch for stitch and putting them on the needles, because that I don't want to grab both yarns, yanking that out, and then after the fact trying to put the stitches on. So however far back I go on that color work, it's going to be slow. It'll be very slow, painstaking, because I will be unknitting. Yay, unknitting, just one stitch at a time. But it'll be worth it. It'll be absolutely worth it, because this is gorgeous. It's so striking. Oh my gosh, having that with just the yoke on the mannequin, that is so striking. All right, well, so would I have to rip it out and everything a bit to make it work, to make it fit? I just look at it like this. No, I'm not that big. I get to make it smaller. I get to conserve yarn. So there, says the XL. Not a problem. So we got this. So with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and get the hair on my face and go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for going down this rabbit hole path with me with the projects that I worked on, nowhere near what I normally do. I'm surprised I got stuff done. I mean, the booties were a last minute to do those. I had concentrated on the one thing and made 2 sleeves in the week. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. That is absolutely exciting. And we'll see what next week brings. I mean, every week is something different and something to be celebrated and something to be happy and proud about. With that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.